Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Good morning to everybody. This morning, as you know, Monday morning, Dr. Livett comes in and give you some informative and some information that would help you to go through not just the week or the day, but to go through your life on earth, to build your immune system, to build your body to be able to withstand whatever illness or sickness that might try to come and throw you down. And the reality of it is that I was talking to some friends on Saturday, Dr. Livett, good morning.
Good morning.
And you know, we were just comparing some things, not saying that it is, you know, some things to just throw aside, but we were saying that people who are vegans, people who we know growing up as vegans, dying from cancer. People we know as don't eat no kind of meat, don't drink, don't smoke. They when they get old, they get in Alzheimer's and all these things. And we were saying, and one of my friends who is a he's into herbs and all these things, he said it has to do with the level of the nutrition, what they were replacing the no meat with.
I'm glad you brought that up. 99% of people I see are meat eaters. In the last, I've seen over 4,000 people. The majority of people I see who are sick eat meat, dairy, processed foods. The little vegans I see, I could tell that they're vegans because they look younger.
Okay.
Now, on the flip side of what you are saying is very small amongst our people. If you look at it statistically speaking, there was a study called the China study, and they looked at over 30,000 people and their diets, which includes vegans, and they concluded that a plant-based diet is by far the best diet to reverse chronic lifestyle diseases. However, I myself have know of cases where people were vegan or vegetarian and still had cancer. And the thing is, when you're vegan, it doesn't mean that you're eating healthy. You could be vegan and still eat corn, for example. Corn is still GMO. Corn could still cause cancer. Corn could still cause diabetes. You could be vegan and still have white flour, white pasta. You with me?
Yeah.
You could be vegan and still have a soft drink. So having a blanket term like vegan doesn't really specify that the person is only eating the right types of food. So on shows like this, we try to really tell people, regardless of what they're eating, what the studies show when people eat specific types of foods. And that's why we talk about low glycemic index foods, because a vegan could be diabetic and still eating stuff that's high glycemic index and still end up in problems. What I do know is once we take people off of meat and dairy and processed foods, I mean, almost 90% of them, their symptoms completely reverse and go away. I had a client once who was listening to a social media doctor called Dr. Axe, right? And he promotes the paleo diet, which includes meat and so forth. She had an autoimmune condition and says, look, stay away from meat and dairy, right? She listened to Dr. Axe. She got better, by the way. She did my program. She got better. She had tons of issues with skin eruptions and pain, and everything went away. But she wanted to eat meat, so she went back to eating meat. 6 months later, she came back. She said, Doc, I'm sick again. I said, what you did? What you eating now? She said, I eated meat. I said, why eating meat? Because Dr. Axe and others like him are promoting a paleo diet. Now, the thing with that diet is there are foods that are so-called healthy foods that will still cause you problems. For example, if somebody's allergic to peanuts, then they will still, it's a plant, but peanuts could kill you. if you're allergic to peanuts, it can kill you. So people have food allergies that once they, for example, there's a carnivore diet now that some people say reverse their chronic conditions, right? Which all they're eating essentially is meat alone. Of course, that also causes constipation because there's no fiber and then there's no other good sources of ingredients. So your best bet if you're trying to be healthy is to understand that your body needs 92 nutrients every day to survive. 92. Right? And the question is, where am I going to get it from? So that's the question. Rather than saying use a blanket term, I am vegan or plant-based or I'm a carnivore, is to ask, okay, Mr. Carnivore, where are you going to get, certain things from? Like, like chlorophyll, for example, which you get from plants. And chlorophyll is the blood in the plant world. So anyway, let me kind of start in the middle. I cannot start answering the question, but that's okay though, because it's a very important thing that meat eaters and people who want to eat regular food say, and it's not true. The majority of people who come who are sick are meat eaters, and they do eat dairy and they do eat processed foods. I don't know much. My uncle, for example, is a vegan all of his life. He's 10 years older than my father, and he, as far as I'm aware of, does not have prostate cancer or other health-related issues. And the thing is, he eats well, but he's also into herbs and so forth. So he was able to, I remember talking to him, and I didn't speak to him for a long time, and we were talking about hyaluronic acid, which is very good for your joints and so forth. But this is a person in his 90s telling me about something that many people never heard hearing for the first time. But it's very important for healing your ligaments and so forth. So it's not just about what you're eating, but knowing where to get the different herbs, ingredients, like we have in new juice, vitamin D. Where you're going to get vitamin D from? Where you're going to get is just so you have to understand that where you're going to get zinc from. Without zinc, your immune system can't function. So that's why we do functional blood chemistry assessment. So I don't just tell somebody what to eat or not to eat just like that.
Could you overdose on zinc?
Yes.
Okay.
Because zinc chelates copper. So too much zinc means you're going to lower copper, and there's a very delicate balance between copper and zinc.
I'm taking it off your phone.
Yeah.
sorry.
All right. And we have a lot in store today. The topic today is diseases of the heart and how to prevent them. Of course, my name is Uchenna Hackett. Clients call me Dr. Livett. I'm a master herbalist. I am a certified holistic nutritional counselor, massage therapist. I'm also a naturopathic practitioner. I'm a functional blood chemistry practitioner. I'm an author. I am many things, really. I have such a long list. It's not too important. But what I will tell you is I have 10 years experience in reversing chronic lifestyle diseases by using varying tools. Functional blood chemistry. We help people holistically to understand that their emotions relate to what they eat, and that we process emotions with food. And we have so much insights. When a client sees me for a holistic health assessment, they literally are shocked by the revelations they hear about many things that they take for granted. So, of course, I want you to subscribe to our monthly newsletter. It's new. We call it, or I call it, Dr. Livett's Renew Letters. And you can subscribe at our website at livetthealth.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram for the latest in health-related news and holistic remedies. And of course, we have monthly specials to help to get you to perfect health. If you are interested in transforming your health and reversing chronic lifestyle diseases like diabetes, systemic lupus, most autoimmune condition, heart disease. Today we're going to talk about heart disease in more detail. Again, we did so before, and we had Dr. Richardson on before. He's going to be on again today. We're excited to have him on in a bit, as well as Dr. Mitchell, who was here on the show before. She's going to be back here as well at 9:30. So we look forward for that. You can call or WhatsApp 674-5015 to book your appointments. And of course, you can also book your appointment online at livetthealth.com. So today, 73% of all deaths come from chronic lifestyle diseases. And they are all reversible, because the key word, I always say the key word is lifestyle. If you change your lifestyle, we can change your health. And that's what we specialize in, is changing your lifestyle, giving you recipes, new recipes to replace your old recipes. And that is going to help you a lot. So, a lot is happening in today's world. A lot is happening. So I said, let me just bring a fun fact today. There's a couple of fun facts all in one. And the first use of antibiotics in history dates back over 2,000 years ago. The Egyptians used things like honey. They would use things like bread with mold on it, because the mold had antibacterial properties. So if you had an open sore, they would literally put moldy bread on the sore. And that was the first known use of antibiotics, even though at that time they couldn't look at anything under a microscope. But they somehow knew that these things were antibacterial. In India and in Asia, turmeric has been used also as a natural antibiotic long before the first antibiotics were introduced in 1908, I believe. So, what I want to say about antibiotics, well, we had another fun fact is Paul Ehrlich, he's a German physician, and he was the first person to, he started using dyes, right? And he put the dyes on cells, and he would notice that the dyes would stain the bacteria and leave the other cells unstained. Okay. And so he said, well, if that's the case, his train of thought was, well, maybe I could use a chemical that will do the same thing to kill the bacteria and not kill healthy cells, right? Mm-hmm. That was his theory. And in 1908, he basically pioneered the work that followed with antibiotics and penicillin. Penicillin, am I saying it correctly? Anyway, you all know what I'm talking about.
Is it diabetes?
No, no.
Okay.
Penicillin is the first antibiotic, really.
Okay.
Right? It's not the first antibiotic. The first antibiotic, actually, I think I have a note of it here. The first antibiotic happened. It's called Salvarsan. Salvarsan was the first antibiotic. It's made from arsenic, by the way. And so at that time, antibiotics are still made from arsenic, and of course arsenic is toxic. And the German physician Ehrlich himself referred to his discovery as chemotherapy. So that was interesting for you guys to take note of, because he said it's the use of a chemical to treat a disease, and he was the first person to use that word. Many years later, different doctors discovered antibiotics and started calling it antibiotics, and this was about 30 years later. So today we know that antibiotics are non-effective against viruses, right? But I want to go back to the bubonic plague in our world's history, because we forget that the bubonic plague killed almost half the world population between 1347 and 1351.
Was there a vaccine for that?
No. So this is why I'm bringing this up, right? We think it's the first time in history that we had a plague. It was spread by mice that were infected, and there was a bug that, of course, that were on the mice or squirrels or different things, and then they would bite humans. It attacked the lymphatic system, and you literally saw parts of your feet and your hand become black. That's why they call it the Black Plague, and burst into pustules, and people died. The death rate was very, very high at that time. So today, if you get this bubonic plague, it still exists, by the way. It's treated very easily with antibiotics. I'm saying that to say that we live in a world today. It was so bad in that time, Pastor Google. It devastated Europe. Just imagine half your population gone. There were places where the nature overtook where houses were, and they had to use planes to figure out where the locations were after. Some populations took decades to get back to their pre-pandemic proportions. It devastated live crop. Animals died. There were food shortages. So I want to remind humanity that this is not the first plague. We had smallpox. It killed 56 million people. Spanish flu killed 40 to 50 million people. And there were many others over the time. So far, COVID-19 has killed 2.23 million people. If I were to predict, I would say at the end of it, it may be closer to 5 million people, and it may continue killing people like the flu every year, right, as time goes on. So we are very fortunate that with all the advancements, in different treatments, we live in a world where relatively we were much better prepared for something like COVID-19. We know that vaccines work. The challenge is just the safety of vaccines, but we know in theory vaccines work. We know that the immune system does work better than a vaccine if it has all the right stuff. If age is on your side, and if health is on your side, then unlike the bubonic plague, where it killed almost everybody, like the death rate of it was 30 to 40%. By the way, was 30 to 40%. Whether healthy, young, old, it didn't matter. Of course, older people are always more susceptible, right? And the point I'm making is that we have a lot of things to look forward to in the midst of a pandemic, and I want people to understand, to not be in despair. It will not last forever. The bubonic plague lasted 5 years.
Wow. Serious?
Yes, it lasted 5 years. So these are the things that we have to prepare ourselves mentally. I think 2021, 2020, 2022 is going to be rocky. 2022 is still going to be rocky. But I think I see life getting back to more or less normal, if I were to predict, is by 2023. So for the next couple of years, we need to be in a build the immune system mode, because the immune system in this case works, because there are people who get COVID and don't even know they get it. So we have a choice, and the challenge with all treatments is, how do you get the treatments to the wider population? And if you're listening to me right now and you are saying, well, I don't want to take a vaccine, then take something for your immune system.
Right.
Don't just say, I'm not going to take. There are people who are diabetic, and I would say to them, if you're not prepared to change your diet, take your medication. Don't say, I don't want the medication because there's side effects. And then you're not eating better, you're not using a herb, but you don't want to take the medication. So I don't understand. You you have to do something. You can't, you know.
What you're saying there is so true, because there are the people out there who are anti-vaccine, but yet still they're coming, and there are the two sectors. There are two sectors. There are the religious sectors who say that the vaccine is the mark of the beast, and the vaccine is this, and the vaccine is that, and the vaccine is the other. And there are the others who saying don't take the vaccine because of side effects and all those things, but they're not telling you to build your immune system. I've heard one pontificator saying that the Minister of Health and the CMO and all the Dr. Heinz, all them should be telling people to build the immune system. So they're saying, in spite of coming on and telling people all of that, they should tell people to build the immune system, right? Yeah. And saying that, you know, the government needs to tell people about eating healthy and stuff like that. Yes. There was one minister I told you about. Who came out about talking about eating healthy. Yeah. And the race card was pulled on him so fast.
At the end of the day, Pastor Google and our very beloved, valued listeners, you have to take personal responsibility for your health. Don't wait until a vaccine comes out to get serious about you. And don't think that you're going to take a vaccine. By the way, even with the vaccine, if your vitamin D levels are low,
you can see the virus.
Your T cells cannot activate without adequate zinc levels. So in other words, with proper nutrition, if you were to get vaccinated, it would be more effective. If your nutrition is where it's supposed to be, and the immune system is where it's supposed to be, because the vaccine just triggers your immune system. That's what it does. It triggers the immune system. It all starts with your immune system.
So my thing is that all the misinformation out there with the vaccine, and I would say all the information, let me take that back, all the information out there about the vaccine, even if the vaccine is what we would call, you know, doesn't help, or it would give it wouldn't help you in any way, but or it could do damage to you in the sense of give you COVID or do whatever. If your immune system is working properly, even though you get the vaccine, it would not affect you, because your immune system will go into play.
Well, and to an extent, I am not pro-vaccine. I'm not anti-vaccine, because my belief is if the body is healthy,
Right.
we know that. If it were not for the body being healthy, the death rate for COVID would have been 50% or more.
Thank you.
So we know that that this body that God gave us is very capable of defending itself from COVID-19. However, if you know that your lifestyle is unhealthy, then take the vaccine.
Right.
You with me?
Of course.
I would recommend that, actually.
Okay.
I would also say that we have to hold drug companies accountable for making products that may cause harm. There are many doctors who died. Inevitably speaking, is what you call a casualty of war, because they're trying to save some will die. So some people, if you know that you are and that's why I think the minister said, if you know you're allergic to certain things in the vaccine, don't take the vaccine, because it's not a perfect cure. It is not. So for me, the perfect cure, if I could say that, is to build the immune system,
right,
and to eat the right things, right? So totally that is, yeah. So that's what I would say with that. Let me see if I can get the doctor on the line. Dr. William Richardson, of course, he is a public health and preventative medicine specialist who has dedicated his life to getting to the root causes of diseases by researching and developing healing strategies to relieve ailments with as natural means as possible. He has a BS in biochemistry with minors in physics and math from the University of Pittsburgh, a master's in the science of public health, which he completed 3 years of training in general and internal medicine at Allegheny General Hospital in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Right, so he has been doing this over 40 years, and he has studied with numerous natural healers and master herbalists like myself around the world. And this man is just such a nice human being, and I'm going to get him on the phone right now and get him to chat about everything related to heart health, and how if you are at risk for heart disease, what are some of the things we can do. We'll discuss some of the things that we do at the clinic for heart health. I guess you're going to plug in the phone when you get him. I'm going to take this off. And just take off my... He's on?
Yeah.
Hi, he's on. Morning. Good morning. Welcome to the show. Let me just put you live, okay? 1 second. Can we hear?
Hello, morning. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Right. Now we can hear you. So how are you this morning?
Oh, excellent.
Nice. So welcome to the show once again. It's a pleasure having you here. We're just telling all our listeners, and those of some of which are viewing us on Facebook right now and YouTube, I believe, and Instagram, about you and your work. And today's topic, of course, is diseases of the heart and how to prevent them. We should be joined by Dr. Dion Mitchell very soon. So we looking at the stats. When I started out in 2011, 60% of deaths were from chronic lifestyle diseases. Today, it's over 70%. So that is growing, and the leading cause of death is still heart disease. And heart disease, of course, is one of your major comorbidities for COVID-19. So a lot of people, I want to break it down, right? So there are different conditions of the heart. So I wanted to just touch on each one, and just to have you quickly give us a summary of it. We spoke about coronary artery disease the last time you were here, so I don't want to spend too much time on it, but let's start there. What are some of
that's
the main one.
Yeah, that is the main one, coronary heart disease, because the coronary arteries are named after the word that means a crown, because it crowns the heart with its blood supply. And when that gets compromised, then the heart can get a heart. You can get a heart attack. You get heart failure. All types of problems.
Right. So some of the symptoms include, of course, chest pain, angina, shortness of breath, sweating, nausea, and irregular heartbeat.
Yes.
I know that you do.
That's right.
Right. I know that you do EDTA chelation therapy for coronary artery disease, and I just wanted you to give our listeners an idea of the type of results you got over the years and the symptomatic relief and how fast you were able to achieve that in your clinic.
Right. Well, we have been doing that for 3 decades, and I found is that you can get a total reversal of heart disease with EDTA chelation therapy in conjunction with correct lifestyle changes. For instance, we've had an 89-year-old male come in who had 3 open heart surgeries and was trying to avoid the 4th. He was in a wheelchair, was on the medications. He had a poor quality lifestyle. And we started the chelation. He really got into the plant-based whole food diet wholeheartedly, and we were forced to take away his medications because his blood pressure started dropping when he was getting the chelation, because he was on, medicines are poisons with desirable side effects. So if you or I take a medicine for, say, high blood pressure or heart disease, and you really don't need it, it'll make you so sick.
Yes.
But
yes.
we pulled him off for all 7 meds, and at the age of 95, the man had a normal lifestyle, and I last saw him working as a volunteer at a local health food store co-op in Atlanta, Georgia.
Wow. Part of what he did was to change to a plant-based diet. So you're saying that a plant-based diet reverses or helps to reverse, in addition to chelation therapy, to reverse cardiovascular disease. Now, there are some people who would look at someone and say that they are skinny or that they are fit and wonder how could they still have blockages in their arteries that maybe need a stent, for example. What would you say to those people in terms of clarifying that that thought process of, okay, this person is healthy because they are slim or they are fit, but how could they still have a heart condition?
And not only that, let's say they're also joggers. They regularly exercise.
Right.
And unfortunately, it's, as we talked before, it's over 85% diet. And that's true of weight loss too. It's over 85% diet. You can't exercise away a bad diet. You have to eat good foods to eat away the results of a bad diet in your body. So you can also be skinny fat, meaning you can be of normal BMI or normal weight, but you may have a higher percent fat than normal, not as much muscle. Or you can even still have a lot of muscle and still have what we call visceral or internal fat, especially that would be associated with higher sugar diets or refined foods, things like that.
Yeah.
So, and I want your listeners to know, first of all, there is silent heart disease. You don't even know you have it.
Right.
And the first symptom or sign of heart disease can be sudden death, and you don't even see it coming. You have
no idea.
Yeah.
In the past here, we have had 2 instances that I could remember of footballers in their 20s died from a heart attack. And recently there was a local artist who also died in his 20s very suddenly from a heart attack as well. So it's something that the public is aware of. But we use a body composition scan. So there are people who they come into me and they're skinny, right? And then when we check the visceral fat, it shows that the visceral fat is high, and the risk of fatty liver, it gives a degree of the risk of fatty liver. And the risk of fatty liver relates in some way to the health of, or the blockages that may be present in the arteries, in the aorta. So when we
because go on. No, go right ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, yeah, I was going to say this hepatic fat or liver fat.
Yes.
And what happens is when we have excess refined foods like sugar, it will turn, the liver can only store so much glycogen.
Yes.
When it's done storing glycogen, then it's going to convert excess sugar into fat.
Mm-hmm.
And then it sends fat out to the fat tissues.
Yep.
When they get filled up or there's too much fat being produced by the liver from excess sugar, then it's going to start storing fat in the liver, which is going to irritate the liver. And then it'll start storing fat in the muscles and start storing fat in the pancreas, thereby decreasing the output of insulin from the pancreas, worsening or causing type 2 diabetes.
Yes.
And this can even lead to cirrhosis, liver failure.
Mm-hmm.
Number one causes of liver cancer, pancreatic cancer nowadays are visceral fat. So this is lethal. It's not just diabetes or hepatitis anymore. But the good thing is you can totally reverse that by eating a whole food, plant-based diet. It will reverse fatty liver. It will reverse type 2 diabetes. Remember, type 2 diabetes greatly accelerates, or even prediabetes, greatly accelerates hardening of the arteries. So that's why chelation therapy works doubly good for any type of diabetic or pre-diabetic, because the sugar accelerates the inflammation of the arteries in conjunction with the lead and the cadmium that the chelation rids the body of by chelating it out. Chelate means like a claw of a crab or lobster. It just pulls that toxic element out. So it works hand in hand. And so it's the great 1-2 punch. And it just doesn't make as much money as open heart surgery or all these procedures. I've had a guy come in my office, and he's an Italian guy. It's funny, and he was. I told him what I could do for his heart. I didn't say don't go and get a particular procedure done that he was destined to get the next day. After I told him, he literally called his cardiologist and canceled the appointment and did treatment with us, and we totally got rid of his heart disease, his cholesterol came down, and all that sort of stuff, and permanently, and not just one little bypass area. A lot of these treatments, they just bypass one artery, but you're dealing with a systemic problem that's all over the body.
So, I mean, we see similar things at the Wellness Center. Since we have been talking, I have been using EDTA orally. I've seen it work. Of course, EDTA orally takes a long time to work, as much as 12 months. When I had you on more recently, we decided to go ahead, and after having a conversation with you, we created EDTA suppositories. And I should tell you, I had somebody recently, her pressure was uncontrolled. She took 2 blood pressure medications, and she got really severe side effects, right? So she came back in. And so we started her off on these suppositories, and within 3 days, her blood pressure was normalized. Now, I will never say to anybody in 3 days of chelation, have you ever seen someone pressure drop that quickly with IVs? I imagine IVs are more effective than the suppositories, but have you ever noticed that in your...
Yeah, I mean, and then it's confounded by the fact that we're also changing the diet, so those two work really together. You're going to get better results when you do both. By far. But yeah, we have seen those types of changes as well.
Also, for diabetics who have diabetic feet that not healing, how would you describe how quickly they see results with chelation therapy?
Well, it's going to take up to a couple or several months, but you can start seeing results in a few weeks. And I'll tell you a story. This woman came into my office, and she's actually from South America, from Guyana.
Right.
A beautiful black woman. And she came in, and she said her foot is getting ready to get cut off in 2 or 3 weeks, and she didn't want to because her mother had her foot cut off from diabetes, And then she died, and she didn't want to do it. And she said, "Can you help me?" And I said, "We'll do our best."
Yes.
So I started an antibiotic because her foot was like, she had gangrene on her toes.
Yeah.
Her foot and leg up to her knee was swollen.
Right.
And I started on an antibiotic, started chelation, turned her diet green, really worked hard with her. And I even called an infectious disease Morehouse professor, and she suggested a second antibiotic as well. And I just talked to her. She's a holistic infectious disease doctor.
Right.
But anyway, I even built a pyramid structure, which I amplify electromagnetically, because pyramids decrease the growth of lower life forms. So I built that structure, put it over her over her feet, the way I constructed it a certain way. But anyway, she still has her foot, and I'm so proud of that.
Yes.
So you can reverse gangrene with chelation therapy and proper diet. Remember, for diabetes and prediabetes, the results from chelation in the TAX study, which proves that chelation works, with a great study. We've known it works anecdotally, just seeing it, but this proved it in a double-blind study, all that sort of stuff.
Right.
But it works doubly for diabetics because, you see, diabetes is for America about, by 2050, I think, 40% of all Americans will have diabetes, and about just about the rest of them will have prediabetes, unless you're eating, correctly. And that's, again, a plant-based whole foods. And that whole foods means avoiding sugar, added sugar. Sugar with fiber is fine. You can chew sugar cane all day long.
Yeah.
It's not going to bother you so much. But when you refine it to the drug sugar, just like South Americans, cocaine leaves are legal because it has 0.5% of the alkaloid. But when you concentrate, it becomes a drug. So sugar is literally a drug.
Yes, yeah.
And excess oil needs to be avoided too, because 1 tablespoon of oil is the same calories as like 52 small cartons of raspberries or blueberries or something. And 1 tablespoon of oil will not fill you up in your stomach. And it has no fiber, but if the fruits and vegetables will fill your stomach up with much less calories. So the whole thing with the diet is fiber. Whole food has fiber. When you eat things with sugar that don't have fiber, then the sugar is quickly absorbed. So that's a killer.
Sure.
So you have plenty of whole foods to choose from, I understand, in Trinidad.
We do. We like the processed foods, because see, Trinis are masters at making the unhealthiest ingredients taste amazing. I don't think anybody else in the world does it as good as us.
Wow.
I have a couple of herbs and supplements I usually recommend. Hawthorn berries works like magic for me in my clinic. We use nano curcumin because of its vasodilation. We use some people use garlic. I don't like garlic, but I just have it on the list because it does work. Niacin, which is a vasodilator, right? Zinc, magnesium, which helps to relax the muscles. So magnesium works in a way like calcium beta blockers, which blocks calcium, but by using magnesium,
so almost opposite.
Huh?
It's almost opposite, like.
Yes. So it works in the opposite way, exactly. And then, of course, vitamin D is essential for heart health. CoQ10 I never really use. I've reversed heart disease without using CoQ10. I don't know what your view of it is, but you'll tell me in a bit. And then we always
if you're deficient, you need it. That's all.
Yeah. And then DHA is also very critical for heart health. So that's kind of what my favorite ones from this bunch would be: hawthorn berries, nanocurcumin, of course, chelation therapy, zinc and magnesium, and vitamin D and DHA. Is there anything else?
Very good. Well, that's excellent. I mean, I'm so happy to know you and really respect your work, man. You're doing a great job. I can't add much to that. Just keep doing. I would even say just keep educating people with the diet, and one day we'll have to demonstrate it. I'm writing a book called Optimal Human Nutrition, or Optimal Nutrition.
Yes.
The science of optimal nutrition. So make sure you have access to that.
Of course, I'd love to sell your book at my clinic, and thank you for your kind words. I share this information. I have other colleagues who may see me as competition, but I don't see anybody in my field as competition, because there's so much sick people that, we have to share the information. So when I have someone like you on this show, I know many people, I would hope, would be listening to the information, apart from just clients who would want to come to the clinic, but also other practitioners who also see clients who may also find this information useful, that they can now use in their clinics. Because again, Dr. Livett cannot see everybody, nor is my ambition to see everybody, and Dr. Richardson can't see everybody. so everybody has a role to play, and I want my role to be that I've always find it beneficial to share information with the public and not keep conversations with Dr. Richardson in private, because I think we are in a pandemic. If over 70% of people are dying from their lifestyle, that's a pandemic. We don't.
It's absolutely terrible. Regarding COVID, African Americans are dying almost 3 times more than the general population, and it's really not because of the color of skin. It's because of the lifestyle, the chronic disease load.
Correct.
And that's been doing much better in Africa because they have higher vitamin D levels, they're outside more, and all that stuff. They know how to deal with epidemics over there.
Yes, exactly. We have, I just have a couple more things, and we only have maybe 5 minutes, I believe. I don't know how we're going to squeeze this in, but we also have other types of heart disease, right? Where you have cardiomyopathy, for example.
Great, yeah.
And you have heart rhythm disturbances like atrial fibrillation. So anytime that we have...
Okay, let's talk about that.
Right. Anytime that we have, I think
let's talk about that.
Yes. So in your experience...
Okay,
Go ahead.
This is really important because we don't have much time, like you said. The atrial fibrillation is associated with more uncontrolled high blood pressure and hardening of the arteries, mostly. There's a few other causes, but those are the primary causes. So if you control the blood pressure, getting rid of hardening of the arteries, keeping your potassium way higher than sodium in your diet, those types of things. And also keep your arteries clear. It's almost impossible to get atrial fibrillation. Also, uncontrolled high blood pressure, you may not feel it. That's why they call it a silent disease for some. It puts pressure on the heart and causes the main part of the heart that pushes blood to the whole body, which is the left ventricle. It causes it to get enlarged, as you know, the hypertrophy, left ventricular hypertrophy. And so getting the muscle bigger and stronger works for a while because it pushes that heart to push it through clogged arteries or stiff arteries, which is high blood pressure, and the heart works hard to push it. But then if it keeps getting bigger and bigger, then it becomes dysfunctional, almost like a person who took steroids and they can't even move with all those muscles or something. So it's really those type of heart diseases, besides congenital heart disease, which you need surgery for, which is more rare. But those two main things, cardiomyopathy, which means your heart doesn't pump well, and that could lead to congestive heart failure with fluid backing up in your lungs, and all that sort of stuff. If you want to avoid that, get on this program that we're talking about, and you can prevent it.
We have a lot of support. My wife is a vegan or a plant-based chef, and she has tons of recipes. I have a new book that documents everything that we have done over the years to help to reverse chronic lifestyle diseases. All of my clients is about to be printed in the US, so we should have it soon. But in it, we have recipes to help people to make the switch, because making the switch is the hardest thing, from unhealthy foods that you love to healthy foods or healthy foods that you will love as well. And I think that that's the thing. So just before you go, people get strokes, but all strokes start off with a mini stroke. I would say most of them. A mini stroke is like
Yeah.
is like a warning sign that you need to take very, very seriously. It's called a transient ischemic stroke. Now, anyone who gets a stroke, what would be your advice to them? A mini stroke.
Anybody who has
a mini stroke.
Change your diet. Change your diet. Get chelation therapy immediately. And remember this: what's good for the heart is good for the brain.
Yeah.
Because we're still talking now neurovascular. There's cardiovascular, neurovascular, and dementia. You're talking about preventing dementia because little strokes. You keep getting tiny little strokes in your brain. Eventually, you're going to lose your capacity to have natural cognition.
Yes.
What's good for the heart is also good for the genitalia because we're talking about erectile dysfunction. United States has over 100 million cases of that, and we only represent 4% of the world's population and have 30% of erectile dysfunction here in the U.S. because of the lifestyle and diet. And females can get female erectile dysfunction. It's called female sexual dysfunction, where you have decreased ability to have orgasm, decreased lubrication, and decreased satisfaction.
Right.
So, if you want to avoid that and keep having, proper sex into your elder years, you want to get on this program that we're talking about.
Yes.
This lifestyle.
Yeah.
And take the treatments necessary. So this affects all parts of the body.
It does. It does. Recently we had success with a cancer patient. I should say having success with a cancer patient. I have her on the suppositories. I created a special suppository for cancer as well. And with everything else, we have to see if it works, right? But she showed me, her husband showed me a scan, and she had a tumor in her esophagus that completely disappeared in 6 weeks. I have never seen anything like this in my clinic so far, and it's because of ongoing research and conversations with people like you to give us, because in my belief is if we could clear up your vascular system, any treatment for cancer is going to be much, much better. Because now white blood cells could get to where the site of the problem is.
Yes, this is true. Yeah, similarly, in our clinic up here, we have a pancreatic cancer patient. I called him yesterday to just check on him. How you doing? Yeah, and I'm like, this guy, for him to even have that much energy is a blessing. I have another patient I just acquired, a sister. She sounds like an angel, and she's really, really sick. She has totally blocked intestine, and she can't even eat. And I just saw her last week. We just saw her, and she has a collapsed lung and all that. So it's a tough case. But what Doc, we're going to do is give her.
Doc. Let me see if I can get you back after the break, because we have to take a break right now. So I will call you back after the break. Okay.
Okay, sir.
All right. Thanks.
You juice. And when me drink, me get a natural boost. Ginger, lime, and turmeric. Give away every sickness. Get a bottle of this real spice. And a guaranteed choice in your life. And let me drink up the juice. And let me drink up the thing from the roots. And let me drink up the thing from the fruits. The you juice. En route to the ultimate you.
Johnny Q Auto Parts Division says it's an assault on battery prices. Power Master, Optima, Vata, and Megastar, starting from $488. Yes, $488 for cars, trucks, and boats, backed by Massey Automotive, and only available at Tobago Color Shop, suppliers of paint, plumbing, and hardware materials. Old Farm Road, Shore Park, Tobago. Open Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Call 725-5873 or 474-2456. And in Trinidad at Johnny Q, 15 R. Peter Avenue, Woodbrook. Remember, batteries from $488.
Joint Pantry Trinbago on its Pan is Spirit virtual concert series, keeping the vibes alive and the sweetest pan in the world. Live Sunday, February 7th and Saturday, February 13th at 8 p.m. via pay-per-view on tizik.com and WAC platforms. Keeping the vibes alive and the sweetest pan in the world. Top medium and large bands in the nation. Featuring National Panorama Champions Desperados and NGC Kuvo Joylanders. Courts Sound Specialists, Face Pan Group, Cats and Jammers, Panberry, and many more. People's Choice Prizes to be won. Text to vote your most vibes and the sweetest, most vibes and the sweetest band. Buy your tickets today. Log on to tizik.com, that's TIZIQ.com, and purchase your tickets. You don't want to miss out on these spectacular Steel Pan events. Prosperity in Pan. For further information, contact events at pantrinbago.co.tt, 623-4486, or visit Pantrinbago's social media pages. Keeping the vibes alive and the sweetest pan in the world.
No carnival, no problem.
Turn your lights down low and listen to the Master's Radio.
The Church of the Firstborn Assembly Miracle Center of 399 Eastern Main Road, Waiko in Sangre Grande is pleased to present Pastor Morris and Agnes Johnson and guests on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays here on the street 919 FM. The Ministry of Worship Children's Hour and the Word is on Sundays from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. On Tuesdays from 9 p.m. to midnight, see Jesus in every book of the Bible from Genesis to Revelation. And on Wednesdays from 9 p.m. to midnight, where we deal with current affairs from a biblical perspective. Tell your neighbors, tell your friends, tell everyone. For further information, visit us at www.churchofthefirstbornassembly.org or find us on Facebook. Email us at church668hope@gmail.com or call us at 753-1113 or 236-7271. Your free will gifts and offerings will be greatly appreciated. First Citizens Bank account number 795222.
Turn your radio on. Turn your radio. Turn your radio on. Turn your radio on.
This is Bishop Aaron Williams from the Divine Problem Solving International Ministries, inviting you to be part of our broadcast on any given Thursday night from 12 midnight right on to 5 a.m. on Friday morning. And this broadcast is called Early Morning Gospel Market Program. Then we have on Tuesday from 12 noon to 1 p.m. the Holy Ghost Gospel Pharmacy. If you are sick and ailing, you can get from this particular pharmacy, from the pharmacist, the good things of life. Hallelujah. And any Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, break into the house of the Philistines. Hallelujah. If you are sick and tired of being sick and tired, hearing the babel of false doctrines that you encounter daily, it's about time you get close to God, God's word, direct from his throne room, in the name of Jesus.
God has good plans for his people. Why do you worry so much?
Royal Castle happily presents our New Year giveaway. When you buy a family meal, you could be in to win some happiness. A kitchen appliance combo of a new stove, fridge, and microwave. Whoa! A living room set, a washer-dryer combo, or a dining room set. Other goodies include Samsung Smart TVs, grocery vouchers, or one of 20 tablets. Just write your info on your bill and slip it into the entry box in store. It's easy to win with our New Year giveaway.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
You choose. You choose. You choose. I'm on my drink, we got a natural boost. Ginger, lime, and turmeric. Keep away every sickness. Get a bottle of this real spice. And it
peace in your life. And let me drink up the juice. And let me drink up the thing from the roots. And let me drink up the thing from the fruits. The you juice. En route to the ultimate you.
All right, so we're back with you.
All right, yeah, so we're back. Let me see if I can get Doc back on. Before I get him back on, I want to tell you about some packages that we have that we created because we wanted people to be... we do a lot for people, right? Once I do a holistic health assessment, it takes as much as an hour. But some people can't afford to spend $4.95 to go through all the things we go through in an hour. So we broke up the assessments. If you go to livetthealth.com and then click on services, you can actually see we have a quick starter assessment for $250, and you can see what you get from the ultimate holistic health assessment for $4.95. We have a regular assessment for $350, the quick starter assessment at $250, and an online assessment for $300. So everybody could basically, there's a package for everyone to start at. Not everyone is sick and needs a full assessment, but you do benefit actually. Each one of those assessments have a different time, of course, right? So the one for $350 is 45 minutes. The quick starter is a 20-minute assessment, and the online assessment is a 30-minute assessment. So it won't take a full hour, but at least I could give you enough to start your journey to perfect health, get you the information from the book. And we also have packages, right? So we have packages. You have a 30-day detox box, we call it, for $12.50, which includes the cost of an assessment. And that is, you save $305 with that package. You also have we have a 15-day detox box for just $600. And again, that you can lose about 10 to 20 pounds and lose about 20 to 30 pounds with the 30-day. 15 days, you lose 10 to 20 pounds for $600. And we also have a 7-day detox box for $470, and you lose 5 to 10 pounds. So it depends on where you are. When you call 674-5015, we have programs for diabetics, for people who are hypertensive, cancer, upper respiratory issues, asthma is the easiest thing to cure. Heart disease is the easiest thing to reverse. Diabetes is the easiest thing to reverse. Cancer is much harder, much more complex. The particular client the clients we have success with are the ones who could afford to go for scans, do follow-up tests so that we could know how the treatment works. Cancer is not straightforward, so I want to just make that clear, but we are seeing success in certain areas, especially with prostate cancer. So that said, you could go online and book your assessment. Let me see if I can get Dr. Richardson online. For those of you viewing us now, either on YouTube or Facebook, if you have a question for myself or for Dr. Richardson, of course, you could get them, have those questions for us there. We have limited time, so let's see how we can do that. And we still want to hear from you. I think I have him on the line. Pastor Google. Dr. Richardson, are you there?
Yes, I am.
All right, so we have 5 minutes just to wrap up. So we were talking about atrial fibrillation. I want to just point out one more thing, that magnesium is shown to help, because the electrical signals, you have sporadic, the human body is electrical, right? So I try to explain things to people. And so because it's electrical, your heart have electrical impulses that trigger it to contract and relax. And with atrial fibrillation, you have this electrical signaling coming from various parts, almost like thunder is rolling and you're seeing lightning flashing everywhere. And so that causes this spasm, which we call atrial fibrillation. So magnesium, in our experience, helps with that, along with everything else that you have said so far. Would you like to add?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, would you like to add anything else?
No, I think we covered a lot. And I hope people really take heed and listen. So I think we said it all.
Yeah.
Almost. Yeah.
Yes. Any advice you'd have for people, or let me ask it differently. In terms of diabetes, have you seen just doing chelation therapy help with diabetes?
My program I use definitely has lifestyle changes with that.
Yeah.
Chelation. So, but chelation definitely helps the negative effects of diabetes. But getting rid of the intracellular fat has to be nutritionally orientated. So you use them both hand in hand.
Yes, of course, and that's what we recommend as well. There's no one-sided cure to anything.
No, it's holistic.
It has to be holistic. Earlier on, I was telling my listeners about the bubonic plague and the fact that it wiped out almost half the world's population in the 1300s. It lasted for 5 years, and it was a bacteria. At that time they didn't know how to identify it, how to treat it, and it devastated Europe. Half of populations disappeared. And I was saying to them, as bad as things are now with COVID-19, and history does repeat itself. We had the Spanish flu, killed 50 million. What are your predictions for COVID-19? And do you think it will become like the yearly flu, like influenza?
Wow. How do I know? I mean, I think that it's for sure not going to be the first pandemic at all.
Yeah.
So we have to be prepared. I think that if anything, for whatever's coming, we have to defeat this chronic disease within ourselves, our families, our world, because it's making us way susceptible.
Yes.
Black people, for instance, in America would actually die less than white folks because we have more blood type O and AB, which helps you, not be so susceptible.
Yeah, but he died.
But we're dying more, and so it wouldn't even affect us so much if our lifestyles, we didn't have the heart disease, the diabetes, the obesity, and this and that.
Yes.
So I think we have to concentrate on being the best, having our best bodies possible.
Yeah.
No one's perfect, and everyone's going to die. But until then, when I went to Nigeria and Ghana, I met people 96 years old, 122 years old, in great health with no chronic diseases.
Yeah.
But spreading across the world because everybody's copying, the Western culture.
Yes.
So I think people have to take another look at it.
Yes. Well, I want to thank you so much for your time. We all appreciate you coming here and sharing this critical information with the public. And I hope you have a fantastic day today. Our listeners and viewers, I'm sure, learned a lot today.
Well, bless you all, and take great care of yourself.
All right. Take care, my friend.
All right.
All right. Bye. All right. So we want to hear from you. Numbers to call.
342-0081, 342-0081, 771-1791, 771-1791, and 466-5391, 466-5391. You can call us now and give.
If you have any questions, of course. If you want to book your holistic health assessment, of course, the number to call is 674-5015. We are closed on Mondays. So if you call today and you don't get through, you can send a WhatsApp message, or best to call tomorrow to book your holistic health assessment. We have a call. Hi, caller. Good morning. How are you? Welcome to the show.
Pleasant good morning, Dr. Livett.
Yes, good morning.
And how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
You don't recognize the voice, right?
It sounds very, very familiar. Yes. Keep talking.
Okay, good morning. As my boss, I just want to say, continue doing the great job that you're doing.
Oh, Miss Beckles, your song, if I tell you who your song like, boy?
Don't tell me. But yes, Dr. Livett, you are very genuine in what you do. And I think that's why I love my job, because it's all about, being real and genuine, and it's nothing fake.
Yes.
And I always had liked helping people, and I've seen that we've had helped a lot of people. And everybody who comes to us, they always say, you know, I listen to Dr. Livett, and he is so different. He sounds genuine, and I've been listening to him for years, and I just had to come. I had to come because this man sounds very genuine about what he does. He does his research. You can ask questions. He has answers for you, and I always think that stands out for a lot of people. So I just want to say thank you, Dr. Livett. I know sometimes I give trouble, but I still appreciate you, and I want to say that I know that you have a very long way to go and many blessings to receive.
Thank you very much, Ms. Beckles. You are too kind this hour of the morning.
Okay, have a great day.
All right, take care.
All right. We have another call on the line. Hello, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Hello, good morning, guys.
Good morning. How are you?
Everything is well. I just want to ask if we could have a program on kidney disease.
Yes, we will.
You know,
we
anytime
will.
Soon in the future.
Yes, we will. Sure.
Okay, thanks a lot.
All right, take care.
Have a good one.
Yes, you too. All right, so the time is coming to an end. We could may be able to take one more call if you have any questions for us. Of course, our featured ingredient. We have a call.
Yeah.
Hi, caller.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Can I a little bit of I'd like to get a case of the
juice.
Yeah.
Yeah, just send a WhatsApp message with your order to 674-5015 and we'll get our case out to you. Of course, there's free delivery in Trinidad and Tobago, compliments of planting seeds, which does our deliveries for us, right? So send a WhatsApp message and we'll definitely get that case out to you, yeah?
Okay, thank you.
All right, take care. All right, so our featured ingredient for you juice today is astaxanthin, a very difficult name to pronounce. But astaxanthin, most people don't know that astaxanthin is trini. We say it's trini to the bird because it's the reason for the rich red color of Trinidad and Tobago's national bird, the scarlet ibis. Most people don't know that, but the scarlet ibis has astaxanthin. It gets it from eating the crustaceans that it feeds on, and the crustaceans get it from the plant algae. Yes, caller.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm calling concerning the U juice.
Uh-huh.
I have been drinking the U juice. I drank about 3 bottles of it already.
Uh-huh.
That's the ginger and lime and some other things.
Sure.
So what has happened is my joints are hurting me at night. I had a problem with acid reflux before.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I don't know if it's like joint pain or acid in the joint and with the citrus in the juice that is creating more of a problem.
All right, call the office at 674-5015. What I will tell you is if you have acid reflux, the time is almost up. If you have acid reflux, some people the juice helps them, just like with apple cider vinegar, for example. It depends on your metabolism, right? So what you may need to do is to do a cleanse, which will allow you to really benefit from the product in its entirety, right? So give us a call, 674-5015.
You juice. And when me drink, me get a natural boost. Ginger, lime and turmeric. Give away every sickness. Get a bottle of this real spice. And make a healthy choice in your life. And let me drink up the juice. And let me drink up the thing from the roots. And let me drink up the thing from the fruits. The you juice. En route to the ultimate you.
All right, Trinidad and Tobago. So that was Dr. Livett. And we want to thank Dr. Livett for being with us today here on the street 919 FM. All right, so it's already 14 minutes past the hour of 10 o'clock, and we're getting ready to go to some information for you. All right, so don't touch your dial, stick and stay. It is it's Monday morning, the 1st of February. The 1st of February, Monday morning, and there's so much things to do So much things to talk about. I want to thank Dr. Livett again, and I hope that you did take down the information, Trinidad and Tobago. I hope that you did take down the information and you are getting yourself ready to go into good health. All right. So again, as I said before, I know that today the Minister of Housing, Ms. Penelope Beckles, is giving out some houses in Taruba. All right. I know that that is something that is on the table, that is happening as we speak. Yes, as we speak, there are some new homeowners being given an opportunity to own their own home today. So that is something that is going on as we speak. So I hope that, you know, those people who are being blessed with their own home would appreciate it. All right, there are a lot of people who have been waiting to get their own home. A lot of persons are waiting and on the waiting list. Sure, I open up the phone lines. A lot of people will say to me, as Google, I've been waiting for 10, 20, 30, 40 years to get my own home. And there's some people who are getting their own homes today. So we hope that you do appreciate what you're about to get.